So, hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast, Two Friendless Friends, and this is the third episode now. And for this week, we have a surprise guest with us here today. So we have Josh and Ramzi from Curse Conversations. Say hi.
Oh, hi, I guess.
Hi.
Do you want to introduce your names so the audience gets to know like your voices?
So I'm Ramzi.
And I'm Josh.
Yep. And since we're doing audio, so like make sure everyone knows it.
We only have 2/3 of Curse Convos.
Yeah, we only have 2/3.
Do you want us to plug at the end, or do you want to do it now?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, might as well plug now then. So we run a very interesting a very dodgy podcast called Curse Conversations. We stream live on Twitch on Thursdays every Thursday at 8 p.m. and our episodes get uploaded to YouTube at Josh Hobbs Talks. That's Josh HOBS Talks. Check us out and chuck us a like or a follow if you like what you see.
And we'll link their channel in the description below, so it's easy to find.
Can I mention something real quick?
Yep.
It's really weird, but Josh, you have a very like radio voice. Has anyone ever told you this?
Nah, yeah. People have said that to me in the past.
Oh yeah, Josh has a voice and face suited for podcasts. It's great.
And we're also doing a episode on their Twitch stream, which will be uploaded when exactly? Thursday at 8 p.m. Sydney time, right?
Yeah. It's going to be streamed live.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, it will probably be already out. So
Yeah.
go over there and watch the recording. And for this episode, the topic, well, you probably have read the title, but we're going to be talking about our upbringing and how that has affected our outlook on life. But before we start, Flora, don't you have a question for us?
Yes. So I'm gonna like be starting this thing where I just ask random questions. So for everyone here, I want you to answer this question. Okay. What is your greatest accomplishment in life?
That's a big question off the bat.
That's a big question for 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 18, so.
What have I accomplished?
Yeah.
I mean,
what can we say?
I don't know where to start.
Oh, you've done a lot, Ramsey, haven't you?
Of course.
Wait a second, guys. You guys are all so accomplished. What do you mean?
What?
No, but it's...
How do you mean?
It's perspective, isn't it? Like,
No, whoa. What? It's...
Okay,
Wait,
okay.
is Flora talking about high school?
Yeah, I think she is.
I'm talking about school. I'm just talking about high school.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good achievement.
Yeah, it's all right.
So for anyone who's not listening, I'm talking about just the high school that they got into. Yeah. For me personally, I would say I have two answers. I would say one, getting into...
Shoot the first one.
Oh, so I can't say both?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
Do one at a time.
Okay, I'll give a more interesting answer then. I would say my biggest accomplishment in life is getting over someone.
oh,
Getting through last year.
okay.
Yeah, and just making it out of like last
you wanna-
year, like feeling fine.
Do we get to explore this later? This sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Surviving 2020 is an accomplishment in and of itself.
It
I
is.
mean, for all of us, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't think it was a year, man.
2020 was a weird year.
It was barely a year.
It really wasn't.
It didn't feel like a year.
Exactly.
I came out of 2020 as a 19-year-old. That's scary.
Oh, I mean, I came out of it as a 20-year-old.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
really?
Kind of messed.
Very messed.
Oh, you said you had two? What was the other one?
Yeah, what was the other one?
Oh, the other one was just getting into the degree that I wanted, which is just commerce.
Oh, okay.
That's not like a bad achievement.
That's a good achievement. It sets you
Yeah,
up
it's
for
not like
next few years at least.
Yeah. So do you guys have an answer?
Okay, who wants to go next?
Oh, geez, accomplishments. I probably like not failing my uni, not failing what I've done so far in uni. I think is an accomplishment for me.
Bro, that's such a... I've accomplished that too. I feel so proud of myself.
I know.
barely passed this one course.
Right? Like I thought.
This one course nearly screwed me over.
I mean, especially with like online learning and like a shift.
Yeah.
Can we get a bit of background information about what you guys are doing in uni and which uni?
Oh, sure. I mean, okay. Josh, you want to tell what you have first?
All right, sure. So I do an arts degree. I do a Bachelor of Arts and Advanced Studies at UCID, majoring in media and communications and performance and theatre studies. Ramsey, do you want to go?
My man's accomplished. All right, I'm doing electrical engineering and computer science at UCID as well. But like, it's a bit harder than I thought it would be. So, passing my first year is a really big accomplishment for me. I feel, at least.
That's commendable.
I mean, is it really commendable?
It definitely is though.
I mean, like, if you're starting out first year, like, purely online, that's
Yeah, it really
that's
is.
rough. Unless, like, you got
Yeah.
lucky and all your exams were,
Yeah.
like, the 24-hour take-home ones, open book. Like, for anyone that had, like, that for every single exam, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I have friends in UNSW. Yeah, I had friends in UNSW that were just doing their exams like, oh, I have.
Whoa. Let's not name any names
No,
here.
no,
Let's
no
not
names.
expose any people. Okay.
No names, but they were just chilling, doing their exams in like 7 hours, and I was so
yeah.
confused.
No, but not everyone had that, I think.
No, definitely not.
A lot of people got lucky.
One of my computer science courses didn't have that. Like, it was, like, a strict 3-hour limit.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
And like exams, like even if it wasn't 24-hour, they still changed it to some degree.
I heard some courses changed to pass-fail as well, which is kind of interesting.
Exactly, there's that too.
Yeah, none of my courses did that.
Oh, it was only first term, though.
I didn't even have finals in the first term.
That's so value. What?
That's kind of mess.
I did a weird in media. It was a bit strange.
Oh, you do media?
I did do media, and then I moved into commerce, and now I'm gonna move again to commerce science.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, do what you want to do, right? That's like more power to you.
Everyone's got to find their calling.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So Josh, your turn. Biggest accomplishment.
Oh, big accomplishment. I don't know. I feel like biggest. Actually, so far, I'd say my biggest accomplishment was like not going with what I thought everyone was doing at the end of high school, which is like picking a degree that was either like a science or law, because I was always like a humanities kind of person. So, and then like going to pick media, even though it's like an arts degree, was probably a big accomplishment, because after doing it for the past year, I found out that it's actually kind of fun and interesting, like on a personal level, which is something that I don't think I would have gotten if I just gone along with what everyone else was doing at the time.
Yeah, I kind of see that, especially with the school that we came from. Like, everyone. Like, I mean, I think, like, half our grade went into med or law. So, like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
actually quite a few people, I know, didn't quite a few of people in our grade.
I think we can dive into that a bit further when we start our topic.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll answer the question too. So I think my biggest accomplishment was actually having the guts to start this podcast, because
Ooh.
I think I was just always scared of being judged by other people for doing something like this, especially like family. Like, I'm like one of the younger
Yeah.
cousins.
No one likes a content creator.
Like, I'm one of the younger cousins. And like my older cousins were all like the typical Asian, like, kind of realm, like, oh, engineering, math, actuarial studies. Like, I think it's weird to be the one to break out of that kind of like circle, and I think like
I mean, someone has to do it.
someone has to do it, so I did it. Yeah.
I mean, like, if that's what you're interested
so
in,
good,
then
though.
like, go for it, right?
It's not like
yeah.
what I would want to do as like my permanent full-time job, but like it's something that like it's a side project that I want in my life.
I feel like at the time we're at right now, and like also with everything going on around us, this is like the perfect time to start something
Yeah.
up like this.
Podcasting is actually it's actually exploded since 2020 because everyone's just stuck at home. Like legitimately, almost everyone on the internet has a podcast at this stage.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of the platforms with the least like kind of startup cost and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You might as well get out there.
Also, you don't have to have a pretty face for it, which makes it very easy for us.
Oh, us?
When did you guys start?
When
Yeah.
did we start?
As in, like me, Ramsey, and Jerry.
Yeah.
We started. Well, we started up our podcast like about
Last month, was it?
like yeah, last month, like halfway through last month, when we were sort of like whatever. We have like very very interesting yet dodgy conversations that might make good content. Therefore, we decided to just record it.
We might as well share our content with the internet.
Yeah, if there are people out there who share our sense of humor, then at least they might find something to help pass the time. And that's pretty much it. But I had a podcast before this.
So how did you guys actually start
yeah.
your podcast then?
Oh,
How did we start
we just
it?
started talking, right?
No, we all hopped in a Discord call like we normally do, and just started talking about cursed things and recorded it.
Yeah, pretty
Like-
much.
The only difference was that we had a recording instead of just the conversation going into nowhere. It was, I don't know.
I mean,
wasn't
to
too
be
much
fair, the
different.
conversations never went nowhere. They always went to various cursed conclusions, but
Oh,
we've
yeah,
never
okay,
recorded
look.
them before.
But that's pretty much, it's just basically what we did before, but like recorded. So nothing really changed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so time to jump into the topic for today. So I think I really wanted to talk about like how our upbringing in terms of like being in an immigrant household,
Ooh.
being Asian, like and like having that like very stereotypical kind of like education first, go to the top school, go tutoring and stuff. Like how has that shaped how you want to move on with your future?
How we want to move on with our future. Oh,
Ramsey, do you want to go first?
And like, have you broken out of it? Like that very Asian kind of like stereotypical bubble.
right. I'm doing a pretty like Asian-y degree, if you could call it something like that. You know, engineering and
is.
computer science,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't know if I can say I've broken out of that, but the way I was raised, like, I've heard like people talk about them going to tutoring, like, I don't know, like 4 days a week or something, and like you've experienced that.
Not 4
I've-
days a week, but yeah, to some degree, I've experienced that.
Yeah, close to that. But I think I got out pretty lucky because I didn't really go to tutoring that like during high school, but I was in the same environment as you guys in terms of school, right? And I don't know. I feel like that's affected me
Yeah.
because I chose a degree.
Do you guys think that your culture has impacted or has like a really big impact on
God.
who you are today?
Okay.
I mean, like, definitely. It has to have, like, it's the way we were raised, like, in, like, the last 18 years of my life, like, I've been raised to be, like, kind of the typical Asian pathway, like, oh, let's go apply for med, go do, like, something, like, that pays more, like, don't go into, like, arts, and, like, kind of, it's, like, I think my parents, like, towards, like, the end of, high school, they started being like, oh, do what you want to do, like, we're just going to recommend this for your benefit, but, like, if you're not genuinely happy doing what we have set up for you, it's not worth it in the end. And I think that was when I started wanting to break out of that bubble. Well, like, I do commerce and computer science, so I don't think I've broken out of that bubble. And I also applied for med, applied for dentistry, so technically,
But you enjoy what you're doing now.
yeah, like, to some extent. It's definitely not, like, my favorite thing. I think it was, like, a compromise between something I'm interested in and
But, like,
something that I want, like, enjoy, like, and the actual, like, factor of, like, being able to be financially stable later on in life.
Do you know what you'd do if you weren't like forced into degree? Not forced, but like if you didn't choose this degree based on other people.
I would have applied to a cooking school.
Oh, okay.
Do you know which cooking school?
See, I never explored that route.
Ah, I see. Fair
Yes.
But like, it's cool that you know what you want, like out of your life. Like even if you chose something different, it's cool that you know what you want. Because for me, I just like chose my degree based on like, oh, it's what you should do, right? And I'm not really sure if it's what I want to do, but I don't know what I want to do. It's kind of, I'm at that point in life.
Well, you definitely have time to change, though. Like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm like.
Do
I'm
you
glad
like what you're doing, though?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm thinking about it. It's like interesting. Yeah, definitely. But I don't know if it's what I want to stick with for like the rest of my life. You know?
Yeah. I had a question for everyone.
Okay.
So I think it's fair to say that you three, okay, for context, everyone else, everyone but me went to the same school, okay? And their school was quite like, they viewed academics as like a very
it's high,
valuable.
yeah, it's high achieving. That's the way you can put it.
Okay, thanks for that. So do you now think that you guys have this like this way of like looking at academics where like it's what like defines you, or like do you find like academics as something that is like very, very valuable then?
See, this is an interesting question because Ramzi has been at this school since year 7, and Kelly joined later and I joined later still, so this will provide a bit of an interesting contrast in terms of like opinions, because I joined only in like the last 2 years of high school. So the way I see it, I sort of fell into this culture where everyone was sort of, I don't know, do I want to say obsessed? Kind of. Everyone was sort of just very, very oriented on how they performed academically. And it was interesting to see, because it's not a culture that I was used to before I came to this school. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd feel like obsessed is a pretty good word to use for it.
I think it wasn't. I wouldn't obsessed. I don't know. Like I feel like it was also like pressure from parents for a lot of kids.
No, definitely.
I think the parents were a bit more obsessed.
Yeah, no, definitely. Everyone's lives were like dominated by studying, basically. For at least from what I could see.
In contrast, my school was like not too it was like a mix. You'd have people that would really, really care, but it's definitely not majority.
Yeah.
Majority of the people would be like kind of caring, like a 7 out of 10.
Right, yeah. We'd be like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
11 out of
right.
10.
Yeah.
Even those that didn't go tutoring, like, still, it wasn't even just about tutoring. It was like everyone cared.
Yeah. I mean, okay, we'll see it, like, how did that, like, happen? Like, how did you feel, like, in the final year of high school? Did that culture affect you? Like, were you in that culture? Or, like, did you, like, dodge it because you just came in?
Okay, because the thing is, when I first came in, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I was observing it, but still sort of from the outside, even though I was, like, a part of you guys, right? But then, in the later years, so, for context, there's a subject that we have to do in, like, a nationwide exam that is compulsory, which is advanced English. And basically, for the final year of high school or so, I was, like, part of a group of people who was trying to, like, peer tutor everyone in the grade to try and make sure that all of our marks got higher, and therefore we all got, scaled upwards. So it was sort of like, I sort of feel like, at least towards the later part, I became a part of that in a way. So like, for that period of time, academics was like pretty central to my life as well, because I wasn't just worrying about like myself per se, but I also had to like worry about like close friends and to an extent people who came to me for help.
I think one thing I'm glad about was like it wasn't a toxic competitive culture.
Yeah, it was in the end, I feel like it was pretty, well, not wholesome, but like it wasn't bad, right?
Like everyone helped each other. It wasn't like, oh, I'm not gonna help you because I don't want you to beat me.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything like that.
That's really good.
That would have been very counterproductive. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
definitely our school.
Oh, really?
Well, because we had such a range of people where like people cared, people didn't really care too much, and so there would be like a lot of leeching off people, asking like, oh, just help me with this. There'd definitely be people who just didn't want to help their like peers at all, because it would be
That's kind of surprising.
but I think it's because like your school has been so like fixated on making sure that you're all achieving the best marks, whereas like everyone in my school had just different expectations and different I forgot the word. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because like, if you look at the people who graduated from our high school, like the majority of them have pretty similar like post high school goals, which is get into med or get into law or something in between the two, something like that, right? And there's not really like, when you get to that sort of like, how do I say, saturation, I guess, there's not really a lot of room for people to like go and pursue different things, because when you're focused on those two things, which are like really really high cutoffs in terms of like who academically is able to enter that like sort of university degree type thing, right? Like we're sort of forced into like acting based off of that, if that makes sense. So like sort of the dream dictates the action and the approach.
I think even like I noticed that after high school, like when I saw what people were doing in uni, I think other than the people that actually went into med and law, there was actually quite a big spread. Like I was kind of surprised by like the spread of different degrees that people went into. Oddly surprised. Especially like I think I had the mindset that like most people would go into like typical Asian degrees, and that kind of defined like how everyone worked. But I feel like a lot of people worked so hard, got really high marks, but they didn't necessarily need those marks to get into the degrees that they wanted to get into.
People also do it just so they can say that they've done it, you know, like, oh, I could have done med, I just chose not to.
I feel like a lot of the approach that people took sort of, and I could see why their parents would like get them to do this, is sort of like, you know, shoot for med, shoot for law, and even if you miss, you'll get like, you know, a ton of options beneath that. So it like that makes sense that you get a bunch of like really high achievers who really don't need that high marks though.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that applied for there's a second exam you can take that you're meant to take if you're trying to go for med.
UCAT?
Yeah, UCAT. And I know a lot of people that took the UCAT, but they weren't planning on doing med at all. Like,
That's true.
they just took it because they had the option, right?
Wing wing, hello,
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah, that's you, right?
No, but you wanted to.
No, like I think at some phase it was like at the beginning when like the actual deadline for applying to do the test, I didn't want to do med at that point, and like my parents were like, just do it in case. I think so there was that mentality that like a lot of people did it just in case.
Wait, didn't UNSW law have an exam like that as well? What was
Yeah,
it
they
called?
did.
Yeah, like LAT, the LAT.
Oh yeah, LAT.
Yeah, I know people that did it that didn't end up doing law at UNSW. So like it's kind of that thing. It's like safety net.
Yeah.
Sorry, wait.
It's funny to call med and law safety net.
I was about to bring that up. I was like, huh?
I
Med
think,
and law is a safety net. What
Yeah,
kind
I
of
feel
world are
like-
you guys living in?
I mean, yeah, but that's how it is, right? It's not exactly a safety net. It's like if you're at that point and you eventually consider med and law as like options at all, but you didn't do the test earlier and now you just can't apply, then you might as well have done the test, right? You might as well just have had that.
Okay,
as
yeah,
an
that
option.
makes more sense. Yeah.
I don't know if it's like exactly a safety net. It's not
Safety
like
net makes it sound like something you go to as like a
Oh, the
default
backup
option.
choice.
And I don't know if med and law are very default.
I didn't get into commerce, so I'll just do med instead. Like I don't feel like that's it.
I think no, I knew people that had law as backup for med.
Oh, really?
Well,
I don't know anyone like
Well,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I know a
but-
couple that actually did that. Like,
Oh,
they
really?
wanted med, but they did LAT just in case and did law.
See, this is the thing that strikes me as a bit strange, though, because when I think about law and med, I don't really see a lot of overlap between the two in terms of like if you are a med interested person, like what is there in law that's going to like keep your interest over the course of the 6 years?
I feel like it's
Status.
yeah, it's status,
Status,
status and money.
money.
Status.
I mean,
and
both
money.
jobs lead to lots of
enough.
money, right? And that's the Asian dream.
I wanted to explain my views on like
Yeah.
smart people, I guess.
Oh,
And by
people.
smart, I mean-
okay.
I just
No, yeah, sure. I love how you say that as if you don't count yourself as part of that group.
You're probably smarter than me.
Everyone's smart.
We're all allowed to be smart people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. That's why I said academically smart because okay, so I was once a okay, I need like big background context for this.
No, yeah, go
So
for it.
my parents didn't really push anything on me. They didn't really like even they didn't know what subjects I did for HSC. They didn't know when exams were. They don't know my degree right now. They don't know my ATAR. Okay, they're not very involved in any of this. So this was always a thing, like ever since like beginning of high school. So because of that, I had to like self motivate me. So like I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask to go tutoring. I'm gonna do the extra work. Like I always was. You know what? I sound like
No. Go for it, yeah.
So yeah, like because of that, I found myself like valuing getting high marks as something like I placed it at a very high priority, and I like needed it to like fuel my self-worth basically, and it wasn't healthy at all, definitely. And it got to a point where it was like the end, so it was ATAR, right? And I didn't get the ATAR that I wanted, and because of where I placed academics, I fell into like a really big moment, I guess, like phase, where everything just felt like it was like tumbling on me. And I was like, wow, I am so dumb. I just want to be smart. And every time like I met like a smart person, and every time I say smart, I just mean academically smart, because I know that you can be smart outside of academics. But so every time like I met someone that was like really, really smart, I kind of like in a way idolize them. I was like, wow, you were like everything that I want to be. But then after some time, and after I got like close to someone who was up on that like level, I realized like that emotionally, like EQ, they didn't exactly have it. And I was like, you know what?
Did you hear that, Ramsey?
That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh, okay.
No, yeah.
No.
I mean, that
No, I can
No,
definitely, I can see that.
I agree.
It's just a bit of a harsh way to put it.
I mean, it's actually true for like some people from our school.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I was just memeing.
No, yeah,
but-
it's actually valid though. Yeah.
It sounds.
That's the point.
Yeah,
Um,
it is valid.
It's valid.
It is.
It's so valid.
No,
though.
but yeah, like
And,
after that, I was like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, like academics at the end of the day. Like you just have to be able to like be a good person, like do good things for people, do good things for yourself, and that's what matters at the end of the day. It really doesn't matter about academics. And okay, going back to the EQ thing. It is harsh to say, okay? So maybe I don't even have like the power to say anything about.
No, go
Okay,
for it.
I shouldn't just say that they have no EQ. That's not true. It's just
Some
okay,
of
I
them
guess like a better
don't.
way of putting it is that we just weren't on the same level and we just saw things differently. So like when I needed like emotional support, they weren't really there for me. That's kind of what I meant, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah. I can see where you're coming from. Yeah.
I don't want to say for sure if this is what it is, but I feel like nowadays when people like just talk in general, especially when they talk in public or with people they've never talked to before, there's this sort of tendency to sort of second guess a lot of the stuff that you say. And like just then when you said the sort of these people like, well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but people who are academically smart sometimes don't have like, you know, very high EQ, right? And to be honest, that statement isn't even that wrong, because there are quite a number, I would say a large minority of people who are academically smart but don't show like, you know, very high EQ. And that statement is like fine, right? But I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's sort of a shame, I guess.
I mean, like
that there's this sort of like apprehension to say that.
Yeah, it was funny at the like when you said it, but like it's not wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like
it was funny because it was correct.
Yeah. Funny because it's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, thank you.
Do you feel validated now?
That's what we're here for.
I do feel validated.
We are validating each other.
Yeah, there we go. All for emotional support.
See, high EQ.
Okay, I think with this year, I think HSC results came out and a lot of humanities subjects did a lot better. And I think this year, like, no, not this year, it was last year. 2020 was last year. That's weird to say. But, like, with 2020, like, I think everything was kind of spun around and, like, people have realized that being smart isn't everything, like,
they did.
Going the traditional route. The traditional route is, like, being broken, like, all, like, it's being shattered right now. Like, I think before we saw, like, a lot more people who, like, aiming towards doing med law, but now it's so much more diverse, at least from my point of view.
It's not a numbers game. Yeah, it's not all STEM, and that's like good. The thing, so like basically from before, when we were in year, like the end of high school, when we were in year 12, the thing that always struck me as like the thing that made me uncomfortable about the whole thing was everyone seemed to be funneled like by the education system or by like what has been happening beforehand for years into thinking that to succeed after high school you have to do like a very set group of subjects to succeed, and then afterwards you had a very limited set of options which were like viable in quotation marks, right? But then like it just seemed so like such a waste. I feel like people just cut themselves off from like creative avenues to like go do what everyone else was doing.
I was going to say that I really thought that ATA really defined your future.
Oh, no.
Because to me, I think it was because like I didn't know that you really could just easily transfer like that. I thought it was like, oh, this number that I get is going to tell me what I'm going to do as a career. And that's like definitely not true. And uni is so different.
See, this is, no, sorry. Yeah, just finish that sentence. I'll continue afterwards.
Yeah. Uni is just really different to high school. So like, I found that high school environment for me and like the way that it worked didn't really, like the marks that I got didn't really reflect the knowledge that I had, whereas like uni it does. So like I'm actually getting better marks now, and I don't know, it's just like more for me, like this environment.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, because I feel like with the perception that, you know, HSC and the ATAR is like the end all be all, I feel like that's something that like a lot of parents fall into and therefore their kids fall into, but it's also something that like especially coaching colleges actively promote, because like that's the best way for them to make money and like get students. So that sort of makes sense.
It's a predatory business model.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think especially with the coaching thing, you know how every year like every coaching place like kind of releases their honor roll?
Oh yeah, like we have
their list of high achievers. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like to flex. Oh yeah, I had all these kids that like did so well. You should come to like this tutoring place to
Get in my basement. Look at how many kids I had succeeded.
we had.
But like
Yeah.
I think it's like weird. Like when you see the ATAR results next to the names and like the schools that people went to, like the ones that were posted up were always like at the top were like James Roos always gets like 99s and everything. And like I think the moment that I found out that I didn't get 99 like, I was kind of like, okay, I don't want this posted up. Like, all my tutors that asked me, like, my marks, I gave it to them, but I told them that I don't want it posted up on their honor roll. I was slightly scared of judgment, like, not from my parents. Like, I was okay with my mark, but, like,
Oh, okay.
I was scared of judgment from, like, other Asian parents. Like, it's like, oh, your daughter went to James Roos and didn't get 99? Like,
Yeah, nah. That's
Like, but
definitely
then,
like
like-
a problem.
Is this a normal thing for
Oh,
people to
that's-
think?
That's so funny. I mean, it's normal for... I don't think it's normal, but, like, it's something that did happen, yeah.
Yeah.
For someone who didn't go to James Roos, I see it as like 98, 99, 97 kind of all are similar to me.
they
Well, back
basically
then
are.
anyway.
Yeah, no, because I feel like the problem is when
Yeah, exactly.
when people are at risk for a long time, and to an extent that included me, like there's a temptation to sort of warp your perception so that anything below 99 suddenly becomes like not a good mark, whereas like anything above like 90 is probably like, I don't think you'll hear many disagreements that it's an objectively good mark. Like that's the sort of like thing.
In the end, okay, for context, in high school, I was low achieving in the highest achieving school. So, like, I wouldn't say I was doing badly.
It's a bit
but,
harsh on
like,
yourself,
compared
but
to
yeah.
everyone else. Yeah, no, compared to everyone else that was around me, I was doing pretty poorly, right? And in the end, I got above 90. And, like, talking to other people in uni who came from different backgrounds and weren't in the same, like, competitive culture, they, like, look at my mark and think, wow, this guy's so smart. How did he get above 90? And that's, like, really interesting to me, how the different perspectives on that.
And I feel like this year, for the first time on honor rolls, I saw James Roos kids with marks like 93 and 95. And I was like, bro, I'm proud of you. Like, you did good. Like, I think after uni, my outlook has changed on ATARs. Like, honestly, anything above 80, I'd say, like, you're doing fine.
I mean, like, if you're getting into uni and getting into the degree you want to get into, do it, like,
You're
yeah,
doing
you're
fine.
doing fine.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like it's just like I feel like you lose quite a lot of emphasis, especially in those top high schools, that the objective of the HSC, the objective of actually doing the test in the first place, is not to get into a certain degree, but to get into the degree that you've decided you want. And that's just like, I don't know, I feel like that's lost on a lot of people, especially near the top of the high school ranks.
Yeah, I kind of came to that realization.
I always think it's really important for people to like have like a diverse group of friends or people they hang out with, because then you really do get like caught up in everyone else's mentality if you're with just the same people. Because I reckon like a lot of, like you said before, a lot of people who went to Roos would consider anything below 99 to be not good enough, whereas like that's just not true at all, because 98 is you're literally in like the top 2%, and that's really good.
Okay, so with that perception, I feel like there's a bit of a caveat to that. I would say, instead of saying that like 99 is not good enough, I would say that the majority of people at Roos, they would think that 99 is not good enough for them. Like, if they would only apply that thinking in regards to their own mark and their own performance. I don't think they would look at anyone else's mark, and if it's below 99 and go like, that's not good enough. I would think that if they got less than 99 themselves, then they would think it's not good enough. You know what I mean?
I feel like I feel like the people that had that mentality knew they could perform better. Like, they knew that they could get full marks on this one test.
Or it's sort of like they expect more of themselves.
Yeah, like
It's not judging other people as much as like, you know, just being harsh on yourself, kind of.
Yeah, it wasn't like a toxic. Yeah.
It's like that meme. That meme is, you know, like, it's like your friend gets like it's like your friend goes like, oh, I failed, and it's like, oh, and then the other friend goes like, oh, I did really well, and then they show each other the marks. The one that said they failed got like 90s, and the one that said I did really well got like in the 60s. And it was like, what the heck? But like, I think that describes the relationship between like our school and like a lot of other schools really well.
I mean, like, it's also the mentality that if you're passing, then you're doing well enough, right? And I feel like going into uni, like 100%. I think I turned into that. Like, oh, I'm getting like 60s. Like, oh, that's good enough. I'm passing
Yeah,
my degree.
exactly. Because you don't need 90s. You don't need 90% in like
degrees.
everything to get a degree. You just need to do good enough. You just need to be competent.
But I still talk to people that consider uni marks as well. Like, oh, I got like 90 in this course, but I could have gotten like 92. And it's I can see where I came from and like how that's changed the perspective. And it's really like nice to see that I've like stepped out of that. No, it's sort of toxic.
Yeah.
Toxic culture.
Again, in fairness to the people that we were like, going to high school with, I don't think it's again, it's not a sort of like, oh, you got below 90, oh, get away from me, you peasant kind of situation, right? It's more like, it's more them like, again, putting like high expectations on themselves, not judging other people. I feel like it would be I needed to emphasize that just in case people got the wrong idea.
Yeah, it wasn't like a toxic culture, but it was definitely like you're being harsh on yourself. And I think it's like not unwarranted because people definitely knew they could do better if like they had a bad mark.
I mean, wouldn't you say that's kind of toxic though? Because like it's toxic for yourself.
It is toxic. No, yeah, it's toxic, but it's like,
Oh, that's true.
yeah, it's toxic to yourself.
I guess that's true. But I think it's just a shift of perspectives, right? It's just like you're putting more emphasis on certain parts of your life. And like for people in where we were, that's just academics, right? And for you as well, I think.
Yeah.
Like from what you said, it's academics. You're putting a high emphasis on academics above everything else. And that's just how that's gonna be. I don't think that's really okay. Fine, it might be a bit toxic, but I don't think it's like bad.
You can't say that's a bit toxic, but it's not bad.
I don't think it's like naturally
I
bad.
think like depends how extreme you were with it.
Yeah, it's not extremely. It's not like 100% terrible.
Like I think no, there were certain people like that I knew that I just really was like, it's very toxic for them. Like their mental health was like deteriorating because of that mentality, that kind of like competitive, like need to achieve like 90s and stuff. Like, it was very like harsh on them, and they actually felt like they were going backwards in life. But it's just very nice to see everyone.
Yeah. So many people put their self-worth entirely on a mark, and that on a mark or a rank, and that was just
so bad.
that's just not good to see.
I guess I never like talk to people like that, so I don't know the struggles of that
Like, I
kind of
noticed
stuff.
that like a lot of people started breaking down during HSC time, like going like, I don't know if I can get into the degree I want to get into. And I was like, they're like, I'll deal with it when ATA comes out, haha.
And that's all you really can do in the end.
Yeah, because you can't change your result once you did the test.
Yeah, that's true.
Did your parents push this kind of you have
No.
to get a certain mark to be good enough? Did they kind of push this onto you?
Okay, this is interesting because they like, okay, so my parents, they didn't go like, oh, you need to get a certain mark, but they did have a perception where you had to do a certain set of subjects, right? So
The Asian 5.
no, not even Asian 5, because like by the time I finished year 10, sciences was a lost cause for me. Like when I left my previous high school to transfer to my new one, my rank in science was the same number as the number of kids in the grade. So that was not happening. So what basically happened for me was they were like, "Oh, you can get whatever mark you want, provided that you know what you're going for, and then like adjust your performance accordingly, right?" But then they were also like, you must do maths up to a certain point, right? And in their case, they were like, oh, you got to do at least 3 in the maths, even though like it was kind of like, I'm not a STEM kind of guy. And the reason for that was partially because of the school that I was in, right? Because, the high school that we went to, I had a lot of people who were really good at STEM subjects, like really good at sciences, really good at maths. So they felt that I was missing out if I didn't do like at least one of those subjects, which is just not how it works though. Because even if your grade is good, if you do bad, then like you're not gonna do anything. So yeah, it's just yeah. That was the extent to which they were trying to influence me though. So that's not that bad.
What about the rest of you?
I'd say like, I think my pressure was self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted.
Like,
Sounds like it's torture.
okay, like just to like kind of give background, like my brother was a very high achiever. He got 99.9 for his ATAR, which is like the second highest possible ATAR for those that don't know the ATAR system. The highest possible ATAR is 99.95. So my brother was a 99.9, went to a selective school, went into uni, got a scholarship, and then like graduated, university medalist. Like, I think like that was
like, you don't care about his achievements, but you're like handing them out. You're just listing
like,
them.
You can
like,
hear it in your voice.
like he's the guy that got into med but rejected med.
But that's respect, though.
I see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like growing up with that kind of sibling and not having any other view. It kind of pushed me towards this lane of do the Asian 5, do these subjects, copy your brother. Like there was that kind of mentality, especially because my parents weren't as familiar with like the whole system, and it was all like, oh, just follow your brother's lead. Like, that's all we know. We don't really know anything outside of that. And, like, therefore, I didn't know anything.
Can you also explain what the Asian 5 is?
The Asian 5, typically people say it's like, do 4-unit maths, 2-unit English, phys chem, and usually economics. Like, but most people will, like, drop it at the end of year 11 and, like, only do the 4-unit math, 2-unit English, phys chem for HSC. And that's like, I think that's like kind of like deemed as the Asian 5 or Asian 4, depending like how many of those you did. But I kind of stuck to that mentality. I was like, oh, there's no other subject I can do. Like, I don't think I can achieve well in anything. Like, I didn't even try to like experiment outside of that realm.
That's kind of interesting. Because I wasn't really pushed to do any specific subjects. Because my parents didn't really care about my like my academics, because I'm like the youngest of like 3, right? And after I think my other 2 siblings, they just like started chilling on what I was gonna do. So I had to like self-motivate and like choose my own subjects and like be responsible for my own mark, which I feel like. So in the end, I did like all 3 sciences and the minimum amount of maths and English. Because, yeah. But, like, in the end, I wasn't pushed to do anything like that. And I feel like I was pretty lucky in that regard.
Hey. Wait, do you mind if I jump in with a question?
Yeah.
Did you guys genuinely enjoy some of the subjects you did at the end of high school?
Yes. Definitely. I had a very big passion for business studies and maths.
I loved economics, but I dropped it.
I feel like any subject could be interesting if you have a good teacher.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I really liked chemistry too, but like physics was not my thing.
I really enjoy studying and learning though. So I found everything really interesting, except for like bio was a bit but yeah, like I really, really liked business studies. I loved maths a lot. And like I enjoyed what I was doing a lot. I never really found it like there would be times, of course, where I'd be like, this is like, I hate this. But most times I actually really enjoyed it.
It's very healthy.
It's very healthy. That's pretty good. It's so, I feel like, I don't know, I probably should ask that question more when I talk about like high school with people, but I feel like a lot of people don't seem to, I don't know, I hesitate to say this, but I don't know if a lot of people would say that about the stuff that they did, whether they like, genuinely enjoyed even the majority of what they were doing.
I don't think so either. Because I'm doing commerce now, and I feel like most people don't have like a passion for commerce. Like it's just like the safe.
They just do it because that's where the money is.
It's like the safe degree. It is for like
commerce
literally
is like
most,
a cop-out
like, most
degree.
people.
Like,
I don't know anyone who's really like, oh my gosh, I love commerce. This is what I want. That is me though. But Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know a lot of people like that,
I
right?
don't. Most people are just like going with the safe route.
And most people do commerce as a
I-
double degree, like with something else.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I enjoyed my subjects mostly because I had good teachers for them. Like I was saying, for the subjects I really enjoyed, I had really good teachers. For the subjects I weren't so keen on, I had like okay teachers, or I just completely wasn't interested in the subject, like advanced English, which was the history.
I
Humanity.
feel like a lot of people became like disinterested in
Yeah.
advanced English
English
purely because it was
was not
compulsory.
I had a really good teacher for advanced English, but I just wasn't
I
interested
feel
in
like
it.
I would have hated English more if I didn't have my teacher though.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. The thing, I feel like I got pretty lucky in year 12 and 11 because, like, all of my teachers were good. And even some of the teachers that didn't teach me per se, but, like, were around, were also good and, like, fun to, like, learn from. So that was pretty optimal. I did subjects that were, like, widely known for not having the greatest scaling. So, and like the two that stand out in particular are like drama and ancient history. And like with both of them, like I had a blast in those like subjects because like the classes were small, but like like we all got along. We all like collaborated. It was like some of my fondest memories from high school came from hanging out with the people that were in those classes and hanging out with our teachers because but the teachers for both of those subjects were like really, really cool people, even outside of their
yeah,
jobs
like teachers
teaching.
definitely make a
So,
big difference in
yeah.
your learning journey.
And I think at this point we should be wrapping up this episode. So, and
Oh yeah.
okay, so does anyone have any final comment?
Plug it
Not
once
really,
more.
no. Oh god.
Plug
oh yeah,
it
we were
once
plugging.
more,
I
yes.
forgot. I forgot we were gonna plug.
Check out Curse Conversations.
Plug at the beginning and the end.
You can
No,
plug
no,
it
we
as
already
many
plugged it. I
times
said
as
that's
you
a
want.
joke.
We'll let you do that.
Oh, really?
Tell us a bit more about your podcast. Like,
A bit
what
more
kind of do you have like a particular thing, like discussion topic that you go towards, or is it anything?
Okay, so for our podcast, it's basically any idea that we think is stupid, but would be fun to explore if you brought it to its extreme, right? And it's like these are topics that sometimes they might, if you read them on the surface, they might be a bit touchy, but I feel like these are topics that are good to talk about. So basically the whole point of the podcast is to like, it's basically just to make opinions and thoughts and discussions like fun, right? Which is not something you see a lot on the internet nowadays for various reasons.
Cancel culture.
But yeah, that's what we were trying to, cancel culture. That's what we were trying to do.
Right. And your first episode was about
Yes.
pic art.
So basically our first episode was, can dick pics be art? And it's just it's a debate that we actually have on the show where we try to we come to terms with what is a dick pic, what is art, can those two like overlap, and again it's not going to cure cancer, but it's just a fun and stupid way to spend a bit of time.
Like it kind of devolved, but I feel like it's what we had was fun. It was the journey, not the conclusion.
Yeah. It was the journey.
That's so fun though. Definitely gonna check you guys out when you post new videos, and we'll have their channel linked below. Are you guys just on YouTube?
No, because we're on Twitch TV as well.
Okay.
Our Twitch streams happen they're always on Thursdays at 8 p.m. But there are certain Thursdays where we might have like a technical difficulty or whatever, and the stream won't be there. But just check us out on Twitch if you're on there as well. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. And we're also going to be doing an episode on their Twitch. Which is
we
gonna
get
be really
Flora and Kelly
fun.
to come on as
I
well.
sound so excited.
I don't even know what the
They're gonna
topic
be
is.
surprised.
Have we even
I know, I
decided
think
on a topic?
We decide.
Wait,
Like,
Ramsey. Do
we
just
decide
do...
like 5 minutes before. Yeah.
Yeah, do we
Oh,
just
do you
go
want to
with-
look at the dog? Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone, please like, subscribe, leave a comment with any feedback or any topics you want to see. Make sure you check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Rate and review
like a
on
script.
Apple Podcasts as well. And make sure you subscribe because I'm looking at analytics and most of the people listening aren't subscribed.
That's kind of
Yeah,
Kinda
how
rude.
rude. Thanks, everyone.